Hollywood shaken, Jamie and Dakota Johnson's behind-the-scenes truth finally revealed. Hollywood has witnessed countless scandals, rumors, and secret love affairs behind the scenes. But when Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson unexpectedly returned to the center of public attention, things became more intense than ever. What had been hidden for years, moments, words, things no one dared admit, was finally exposed by someone in the studio who witnessed everything from behind the scenes. And that story shook Hollywood. I'm going to speak out, because they never told the truth. Adam H., one of Universal's senior production executives during the filming of 50 Shades, decided to break his nearly decade-long silence. In an exclusive interview with a major Hollywood magazine, he simply said, "The public never knew the truth about Jamie and Dakota. I'm going to tell it all, I won't hide anything." Hollywood held its breath. Jamie was filming The Tourist 4 in Europe. Dakota was busy promoting her new movie. But the moment the interview aired, social media exploded. Everyone was asking, what exactly happened off camera? The early days, they weren't a good match, or at least Hollywood thought so. When the first 50 Shades film started shooting, rumors spread that Jamie and Dakota lacked chemistry. Magazines even wrote that they had to force themselves to play the roles. But Adam laughed when he heard that. The truth is, their chemistry was too strong, to the point that the crew had to hold back. The moment the cameras went off, they didn't shy away from each other. Conversely, they ran to each other, exchanging ideas, adjusting scenes, sharing every emotion. Jamie always asked Dakota, "Are you okay? Was that scene too much?" Dakota replied softly, "With you there, I'm fine." That wasn't the kind of conversation between two distant actors, but between two people who found solace in each other amidst the immense pressure of a noisy blockbuster. Adam clearly remembers the first night they filmed the most difficult scene. It was cold. The whole crew was tense. The scene lasted longer than expected. And after the director yelled, "Cut!" Dakota shivered from the cold, and Jamie, without hesitation, stepped forward and draped his jacket over her shoulders. He held her tightly for a few seconds longer than a typical colleague embrace. "They thought no one saw," Adam said. "But I was standing right behind the monitor." What Jamie never admitted. According to Adam, the moment that completely changed the relationship between Jamie and Dakota occurred during a private rehearsal, when the film crew was rehearsing an emotional scene. The lights were dim, no one else was around. Just the director, Adam, and the two actors. Dakota asked Jamie, "What do you think Christian felt in this scene?" Jamie looked at her for a long time, then said in a voice unlike that of an actor analyzing a script, "I think it's hard to tell which is Christian's emotion and which is mine." Dakota fell silent, her face softened, and only the three of them in the room knew what happened next, until Adam recounted. Dakota went over and hugged Jamie. Not a polite hug, it was a real hug, the hug of someone who understands they're crossing a boundary. When the cameras went off, the real relationship began. Another reason Adam decided to break the silence: he wanted the public to stop making false assumptions. No, Jamie and Dakota weren't having an affair. No, they weren't secretly dating. But there was something even more dangerous between them. An emotional connection too strong to be called co-starring. Adam described it this way. Dakota always looked at Jamie before going on set, as if she needed his gaze to keep her balance. Jamie would change his performance many times just because Dakota said a simple thing: "I think the character should feel differently." They were inseparable. Not forbidden love. Not a shady passion. But a deep connection that only happens once in an actor's life, when you find someone who understands you better than anyone else. The night that marked everything. Adam vividly remembers a late-night shoot in Vancouver, when the entire crew had gone home, leaving only him and the two actors reviewing the footage. Dakota looked up at the screen and whispered, Jamie, later, if we're no longer working together, will things between us change? Jamie was silent. He didn't say, no. Nor did he say, who knows. He just looked at her in a way Adam called the look a man gives to only one woman in his life, even if they can't be together. Dakota turned away first. Jamie didn't follow. But Adam knew, it was the most deeply etched moment in both their hearts. What did the studio fear? Not scandal. Not the press. But the fact that their chemistry was so strong it could hurt Jamie and Dakota. Adam said, we had to separate them, not because they did something wrong, but because they were too genuine with each other. After the first part, the studio demanded Jamie was to limit private contact with Dakota outside of set. Dakota was not allowed to stay after filming to watch footage with Jamie. Rehearsals were only permitted under supervision. But these prohibitions only made things worse. Dakota once told Adam, I hate having to act like I don't care about him. Jamie said, I feel like I'm being forced away from the only person who understands me here. Their final farewell on set. The last day of filming for 50 Shades Freed was an emotional storm. Dakota cried. Jamie didn't say much. The whole crew stood afar, no one wanting to intrude on that moment. Dakota walked over and hugged Jamie tightly. Jamie ran his hand through her hair. Adam stood a few meters away and clearly heard Dakota whisper, Thank you for being here with me all these years. Jamie replied, Just remember, what we have is real. And that was the statement that made Adam believe the truth absolutely had to be told. Why did the truth only come out now? Adam had asked Jamie before leaving the crew. Do you want me to keep everything a secret? Jamie just smiled sadly. Everyone has a story they want to tell. When the time comes, you can tell it. Nearly 10 years passed. Dakota and Jamie had their own lives. But rumors distorted everything. That they hated each other, that they were reluctant, that Jamie didn't like this chemistry. Adam said, I can't let that beautiful truth be distorted any further. The whole world reacted. As soon as the interview was published, social media exploded. Did they really have genuine feelings for each other? Dakota cried because she had to separate from Jamie? Jamie said, what we have is real. Old behind-the-scenes videos were dug up. Their gazes, smiles, whispered words. All suddenly made sense. Jamie was forced to respond on Instagram. What we share is respect, friendship, and absolute trust. If someone calls it chemistry, I won't argue. Dakota posted a simple story. Many beautiful things don't need names. The internet erupted again. The final truth, something only Dakota and Jamie know. Adam concluded the interview with a statement that silenced Hollywood for a few seconds. They weren't in a possessive way of loving each other, but they were the most important people in each other's lives, at least at that time. Jamie once told Adam, Dakota taught me how to act from the heart. Dakota once told the makeup team, Jamie is the only one who makes me feel safe in front of the camera. And the heartbreaking truth is, those genuine feelings only lasted for a short time, and then had to be put away in a drawer when the film ended. The final blow left Hollywood breathless. In the final part of the interview, Adam said something that stunned the public. If it weren't for the circumstances, perhaps Jamie and Dakota would have written a different story. No one knows what that different story would have been like. No one knows if they ever thought about it, but all of Hollywood understood. There was something between them that was too beautiful to be scandalized, too real to deny, and too late to go back to. The truth was revealed, not to destroy, but to be remembered. Adam didn't reveal it to create a scandal. He revealed it to respect a friendship, a bond, a behind-the-scenes truth that few had the chance to see. He said his final words as a tribute. Jamie and Dakota weren't in love. But they were once, each other, at least for a few moments they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Hollywood fell silent. Fans wept. Behind-the-scenes videos were re-watched millions of times. And that story, the story of undeniable chemistry, of two hearts meeting at the right time but in the wrong circumstances, will forever remain one of Hollywood's most beautiful mysteries.